Over the years, Godzilla has undergone quite a bit of design changes, but a lot of the core characteristics have remained intact through each of the decades. Even growing up as a kid, I, just like many others, pretty much felt like I knew what I believed Godzilla always needed to look like to actually be Godzilla. But in recent years, there's definitely been a shift and more flexibility depending on the tone of the film or what Godzilla needs to be adapted into. And with that being said, I did acquire a grail of mine. This is a kit that I had my eye on for a very long time. I missed the initial release. I didn't get into kits until after this was released and pretty much going for a fortune on the aftermarket, but an opportunity arose and I could not pass this up. This is a Facto model kit based off Yasushi Nirasawa's original concept drawing for Godzilla Final Wars. This is what he was originally supposed to look like in the movie before the creators of the film felt like he was just too horrific and they gave us something a little more traditional and safer for the film. This Godzilla is downright terrifying, absolutely monstrous and savage looking. He looks very feral, and they ultimately felt like for the tone of the movie he just looked too scary. It's probably a wise decision, because I really have a hard time imagining this Godzilla in that movie doing what the monster in the film ultimately had to do. And how this guy would look in costume form, a little more rubbery, I don't know if it would have translated well, so I think they made the right decision. But this guy is just absolutely monstrous. Every millimeter of this design looks hostile and dangerous and threatening. Can you imagine this Godzilla fighting other monsters? Everybody would be dead. Even at the very end with Minya trying to shield the human characters from Godzilla at the end, this Godzilla wouldn't put up with that shit. Everybody would be dead. Minya too. This guy just looks absolutely intimidating, brutal, everything that I would want in a Godzilla design, haunting, menacing, everything. He would leave behind him a scorched earth. Nothing will be left but human remains and the carcasses of other monsters. So here's the other thing about this. I didn't paint this guy. I always imagined that when I finally found this piece for a very affordable price, that it would be in a box, unassembled, and I would have to spend a majority of my time trying to figure out the color palette of what I was going for. I came across this guy for a really good price, and he was already built and painted exceptionally. I'm really happy with the design. If I built this myself, I probably would have went in a whole different direction with the colors. Not even thinking about to do a palette like this, and I'm really, really impressed with the way they put the colors on this guy. I think it's a fantastic looking piece, and I thought when I first got it from the pictures from the seller to me, I thought I was going to redo the eyes at the very least, maybe change a couple details in the chest. But seeing it in person and in hand, I don't want to change anything. I think it's perfect. I'm not going to touch anything. This is somebody's valuable time and energy that went into this. It's very artistically phenomenal, and I am going to just enjoy him exactly the way he is. Now, obviously, this is a radical design. It's a big departure from your stereotypical Godzilla design, especially in 2004. But since then, I think as a fan and collector, I've definitely had to open up my acceptance, I guess, of just how much of a variety there can be in a Godzilla design, especially with, like I said, the newer material. You have Shin Godzilla, who looks very different, and then you have like the anime stuff, Godzilla Earth, Godzilla Ultima, and even the newer stuff, like you got the Gemstone Godzilla, Godzilla the Ride. There are certain traits that are there to make a Godzilla a big hulking monster, spikes going down his back, radioactive breath. Everything else seems to be fair game now. Legendary Godzilla is very popular. He has very kind of eagle and bear traits and qualities. This guy looks more like a feudal Japanese sculpture of something that looks very like Oni or or demon-esque. And I really appreciate that about this design. And finally, the last piece of this is I posted this guy on my Instagram. I didn't know who the original artist was. I just know who I bought it from. And when I posted this, actually the original person who put this together saw this floating around on Instagram, reached out to me, and was very pleased that I had loved this so much. So it felt good to make that connection and give him that credit that he deserved. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Peace.